The Dutch commercial enterprise led the Dutch to undertake voyages to the east. Cornelis de Houtman was the first Dutchman to reach Sumatra and Bantam in 1596. In 1602, the States General of Netherlands amalgamated many trading companies into the East India Company of the Netherlands. This company was also empowered to carry on war, to conclude treaties, to take possessions of the territory, and to erect fortresses. Dutch settlements. After their arrival in India, the Dutch founded their first factory in Masulipatnam in Andhra in 1605. They went on to establish trading centers at different parts of India and thus became a threat to the Portuguese. They captured Nagapattam near Madras, that is Chennai, from the Portuguese and made it their main stronghold in South India. The Dutch established factories on the Coromandel coast in Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Bengal, and Bihar. In 1609, they opened a factory in Pulicat, north of Madras. Their other principal factories in India were at Surat, 1616, Bimlipatam, 1641, Karikal, 1645, Chinsura, 1653, Baranagar, Kasim Bazar near Murshidabad, Balasore, Patna, Nagapattam 1658 and Cochin 1663. Participating in the redistributive or carrying trade, they brought to the islands of the Far East various articles and merchandise from India. They carried indigo manufactured in the Yamuna Valley and central India, textiles and silk from Bengal, Gujarat, and Coromandel, saltpeter from Bihar, opium and rice from the Ganga Valley. Anglo Dutch rivalry. The English were also at this time rising to prominence in the Eastern trade, and this posed a serious challenge to the commercial interest of the Dutch. Commercial rivalry soon turned into bloody warfare. The climax of the enmity between Dutch and the English in the East was reached at Ambiona, a place in present day Indonesia, which the Dutch had captured from the Portuguese in 1605, where they massacred 10 Englishmen and 9 Japanese in 1623. This incident further intensified the rivalry between two European companies. After prolonged warfare, both the parties came to a compromise in 1667 by which the British agreed to withdraw all their claims on Indonesia and the Dutch retired from India to concentrate on their more profitable trade in Indonesia. They monopolized the trade in black pepper and spices. The most important Indian commodities the Dutch traded in were silk, cotton, indigo, rice, and opium. View. The Dutch rivalry with the English during the 17th century was more bitter than that of the Portuguese. The policy of the Dutch in the East was influenced by two motives. One was to take revenge on the Catholic Spain, the foe of their independence, and her ally Portugal, and the other was to colonize and establish settlements in the East Indies with a view to monopolizing commerce in that region. They gained their first object by gradual decline of Portuguese influence. The realization of their second object brought them into the bitter competition with English. By R.C. Majumdar, H.C. Rai Chaudhary, and K. Datta in An Advanced History of India. Decline of the Dutch in India. The Dutch got drawn into the trade of Malay archipelago. Further, in the Third Anglo-Dutch War, 1672 to 74, communications between Surat and the new English settlement of Bombay got cut, due to which 3 homebound English ships were captured in the Bay of Bengal by the Dutch forces. The retaliation by the English resulted in the defeat of the Dutch in the Battle of Hooghly, November 1759, which dealt a crushing blow to the Dutch ambitions in India. The Dutch were not much interested in empire building in India. Their concerns were trade. In any case, their main commercial interest lay in the Spice Islands of Indonesia, from where they earned a huge profit through business. The English Charter of Queen Elizabeth I. Francis Drake's voyages around the world in 1580 and the English victory over the Spanish Armada in 1588 generated a new sense of enterprise in the British, encouraging sailors to venture out to the east. As the knowledge grew of the high profits earned by the Portuguese in eastern trade, English traders too wanted a share. So, in 1599, a group of English merchants calling themselves the Merchant Adventurers formed a company. On December 31st, 1600, Queen Elizabeth I issued a charter with rights of exclusive trading to the company named Governor and Company of Merchants of London trading into the East Indies. Initially, a monopoly of 15 years was granted, which in May 1609 was extended indefinitely by a fresh charter. As the Dutch was already concentrating more on the East Indies, the English turned to India in search of its textiles and other commodities of trade. Progress of the English Company, foothold in West and South. Captain Hawkins arrived in the court of Jahangir in April 1609 itself, but the mission to establish a factory at Surat did not succeed due to the opposition from the Portuguese, and Hawkins left Agra in November 1611. In 1611, the English had started trading at Masulipatam on the southeastern coast of India and later established a factory there in 1616. It was in 1612 that Captain Thomas Best defeated the Portuguese in the Sea of Surat, and an impressed Jahangir granted a permission to the English in early 1613 to establish a factory at Surat under Thomas Allworth. In 1615, Sir Thomas Roe came as an accredited ambassador of James I to the court of Jahangir, staying on there till February 1619. Though he was unsuccessful in concluding a commercial treaty with the Mughal emperor, he was able to secure a number of privileges, including permission to set up factories at Agra, Ahmedabad, and Broach. The English company did not have smooth progress. It had to contend with the Portuguese and the Dutch in the beginning, but the changing situations helped them and turned things in their favor. Bombay had been gifted to King Charles II by King of Portugal as dowry when Charles married the Portuguese princess Catherine in 1662. Bombay was given over to the East India Company on an annual payment of £10 only in 1668. Later, Bombay was made the headquarters by shifting the seat of Western Presidency from Surat to Bombay in 1687. So there was tacit peace between the English and the Portuguese now. There was also an Anglo-Dutch compromise as mentioned earlier, by which the Dutch agreed not to interfere with the English companies in India. Thus, the English were rid of two arch-rivals in India. The English company's position was improved by the Golden Farman, issued to them by Sultan of Golconda in 1632. On a payment of 500 pagodas a year, they earned the privilege of trading freely in the ports of Golconda. A member of Masulipatam Council, the British merchant Francis Day, in 1639 received from the ruler of Chandragiri permission to build a fortified factory at Madras, which later became the Fort St. George and replaced Masulipatam as the headquarters of the English settlement in South India. Thereafter, the English extended their trading activities to the east and started factories at Hariharpur in Mahanadi Delta and at Balasore in Orissa in 1633. Foothold in Bengal. Bengal was then a large and rich province in India, advanced in trade and commerce. Commercial and political control over Bengal naturally appeared an attractive proposition to the profit-seeking English merchants. Bengal was also an important province of the Mughal Empire. Shah Shuja, the Subadar of Bengal in 1651, allowed the English to trade in Bengal in return for an annual payment of rupees 3,000 in lieu of all duties. Factories in Bengal were started at Hooghly 1651 and other places like Kasim Bazar, Patna and Rajmahal. Nevertheless, despite the privileges of the Farmans, the company's business was now and then obstructed by customs officers in the local checkposts who asked for payment of tolls. In pursuance of its changed policy, the company wanted to have a fortified settlement at Hooghly so that force could be used if necessary. William Hedges, the first agent and governor of the company in Bengal, appealed to Shaista Khan, the Mughal governor of Bengal, in August 1682 for redressal of the grievance. As nothing came out of the appeal, hostilities broke out between the English and the Mughals. 4 years later, Hooghly was sacked by the Imperial Mughals in October 1686. The English retaliated by capturing the imperial forts at Thana, modern Garden Reach, raided Hijli in East Midnapur, and stormed the Mughal fortification at Balasore. However, the English were forced to leave Hooghly and were sent to an unhealthy location at the mouth of the river Ganga. After the Mughal raid on Hooghly, Job Charnock, a company agent, started negotiations with the Mughals so as to return to a place called Sultanati. Charnock signed a treaty with the Mughals in February 1690 and returned to Sultanati in August 1690. Thus, an English factory was established on February 10, 1691, the day an imperial farman was issued permitting the English to continue contentedly their trade in Bengal on payment of rupees 3,000 a year in lieu of all dues. A zamindar in Bardhaman district, Sobha Singh, rebelled subsequently, giving the English the pretext they were looking for to fortify their settlement at Sultanati in 1696. In 1698, the English succeeded in getting the permission to buy the zamindari of 3 villages of Sultanati, Gobindpur, and Kalikata, that is Kalighat now, from their owners on payment of rupees 1200. The fortified settlement was named Fort William in the year 1700, when it also became the seat of the Eastern Presidency, with Sir Charles Sayre as its first president.